for your play-by-play for the Abby Canucks. You've got it locked on the line change, a Vancouver Canucks podcast.
Welcome back to the Line Change. If you've been following the channel over the last 24 hours, you know things are moving fast. Very fast, in fact. We've been talking about the chaos giraffe, Tyler Myers being held out of the lineup for roster management, and for a moment, it felt like a deal was a foregone conclusion. But today, we have a major update that shifts the entire narrative. It's the question every Canucks fan is asking: will he or won't he waive? We now have reports that a specific team, the Detroit Red Wings, stepped up with an offer the Vancouver Canucks actually really liked. But the trade appears to be dead in the water because Tyler Myers has reportedly said no, or he is disinterested in going to Detroit. In this video, we are going to dive into why Detroit was the destination exactly, what the offer was, and most importantly, why Myers is exercising his right to stay put, at least for now anyway. Plus, we'll look at the actual contenders that could get him to waive that no-move clause. Let's start with the news reported by TSN's Chris Johnson. Detroit reportedly offering a second-round pick to the Vancouver Canucks in exchange for Tyler Myers, for a 36-year-old defenseman on an expiring deal, or on a, not an expiring deal, but on, who's on a deal, who is in the second year of a 3-year deal. That is a massive win for the Vancouver Canucks. So it's no wonder why also that the Canucks were so interested and were wanting and brought this trade to Tyler Myers' attention and were actually really high on it. On paper, Detroit is a fascinating destination. They are right in the thick of a playoff hunt in the Eastern Conference, and they've been hungry to end a drought that has spanned 9 seasons. They have a ton of young talent, but they need that quote-unquote veteran stability, or at least a veteran body on the back end to help mentor guys like Mo Seider, Axel Sandin Pellikka. They also have the one thing most teams don't. They have lots of cap space. Now, according to Puckpedia, the Wings have nearly $13 million in room this year and even more next year. They could have taken Myers' full contract without Vancouver having to retain a single cent. So from the Canucks' perspective, this was the dream scenario, a high pick and cap relief. You know, they would be off that $3 million that Myers' contract is. They would get that off their cap. So why did it fall through? Well, Chris Johnson is reporting that Myers is simply not prepared to waive his no-move clause, at least for Detroit anyway. He's taken a patient approach. Elliot Friedman also added more context on the fan hockey show, saying Vancouver had something legitimate, but it wasn't something that Myers was crazy about. And if you're a fan, it's very easy to get frustrated by that answer. Although I will admit, I'm not frustrated at all. I'm not bothered by the fact that Myers, isn't crazy about the Detroit offer and the second-round pick. I mean, as I've already said, Tyler Myers has earned his no-move clause, and he is allowed to choose where he wants to go, and he is allowed to decide what is best for him and his family. And if he doesn't want to go to Detroit, that is his choice. But you have to look at it from the player's perspective, of course. Myers is 36. He resides in Kelowna during the offseason with his wife and 3 children. If he's going to move his family mid-season, Detroit doesn't check the 2 main boxes for him. It's not close to home, and they aren't a quote-unquote lock for a Stanley Cup run. they are a quote-unquote maybe for the playoffs. At this stage of his career, maybe isn't enough to get him to waive his no-move clause. This brings us to the teams Myers might actually say yes to. Friedman hinted that Myers is waiting to see if anybody else steps up. We have a few teams that we're going to go over. First up, we have the Dallas Stars. Now, this is the big one. Myers was born in, obviously, Houston, Texas. His mother lives in Dallas that we've mentioned. Beyond the personal connection, the Stars are legitimate cup contenders. They also have a massive need for a right-handed defenseman. They're currently running Miro Heiskanen on his offside with guys like Niels Lundqvist and Alex Petrovic on the right side. Myers would be a huge upgrade there. The only hurdle, Dallas is tight on the cap and would need to move money or use LTIR in order to get underneath the cap. We also have the Colorado Avalanche, which should be a given. If you want a ring, you go to Denver. They are arguably the favorites to win the Stanley Cup this year. So who wouldn't want to go to Colorado? We also have the Anaheim Ducks. Rick Dollywall did report that they are also in the mix. While they aren't contenders, they are the closest team geographically to his home in Kelowna. If he wants to stay in the Pacific time zone, that's obviously the spot. Now for the Canucks, this is a lesson in the power of the no movement clause. Management found the quote-unquote best trade value in Detroit, but the player has the final word. This is part of the quote-unquote rebuild struggle we've discussed before. Fans want assets back, but the veteran contracts often have these protections built into them. And actually, as we mentioned, a lot of these players earn these no-move clauses. This saga is far from over. Myers is waiting. Vancouver is waiting. And now teams like Dallas, they know the price. What do you think? Is Myers being quote-unquote too picky by turning down a playoff team in Detroit? Or do you respect him using the clause he earned to find the right fit for his family and his career? Do you think Dallas perhaps finds a way to make the money work? Or does Myers end up staying in Vancouver through the trade deadline? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and I'm always reading through all of your comments, and your feedback helps obviously drive these deep dives. Now, if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and subscribe to the Line Change, and be sure to have your notifications turned on so you don't miss more in-depth analysis of your Vancouver Canucks. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, is built for the fastest game on ice. With player props and live betting, every shift, every shot, every save gives you options to get in on the game with DraftKings Sportsbook. New customers bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN, that's code THPN, to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. In Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas, wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois, 21 plus in most states. Void in Ontario, restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets, which will expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. This is a limited time offer. Copyright 2026 NHL, all rights reserved. This video has been a presentation of both DraftKings Sportsbook as well as the Hockey Podcast Network. Be sure to check out the network for your favorite podcast covering your favorite team at thehockeypodcastnetwork.com, the home of hockey podcasts, where it's every team, everywhere. Once again, drop your comments down below. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys on the next Line Change.